That's sort of like the life of discipleship that we're striving to live as missionaries, is that we live in such a way that is repeatable, and we foster access to a relationship with Christ that is repeatable. If you can grow in the habit or the virtue of saying yes to Christ in the little things, then saying yes in the big things is going to be natural. And so I think it's the same with our vocation, that we get to discover it, that it's already within us. But it takes time to sculpt it out. And I think that comes through our dedication to the sacraments, to prayer, to fellowship, and to our formation.
Number 1. All right, if you could live without sleep, what would you do with all the extra time, and why?
And the chaos in my head.
Welcome back to the barn again. My name is Jonathan.
And I'm Mike.
And we are here to tell the extraordinary stories of ordinary people and to share them with the world. And today we have an amazing guest that Mike wants to introduce.
Thank you, Jonathan. So today we have Dylan Little. Happens to be related distantly to Jonathan. Actually, it's his son. So we're excited to have Dylan on today. Dylan, you've got an amazing story. I know you're involved with mission work right now. You're kind of in between your positions, I guess. But so you're back in town. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're doing, and then we can kind of get into your story.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah,
I'm Dylan Little. So that's my dad. And I serve as a FOCUS Missionary in Ireland. Well, I was this last year, so I served in Cork, so University College Cork. And then so kind of summer's our transition, and I'll be serving in Krems University in Austria this coming school year as a missionary there. So.
And you're like you majored in German.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I studied. They just call it German studies, although I think it's actually called something different now, but German studies. So German literature, history, like these things.
That's why they kind of picked you to maybe go overseas, right? Because there's not very many FOCUS missionaries outside of the United States.
Yeah, no, there's only I don't know 30, maybe 35 missionaries in Europe, because we have over 1,000 missionaries with FOCUS in America on like over 200 campuses. But in Europe we have, I think it's 7 campuses. I should know that because there's not that many, but I don't. I think it's 7, 2 in Germany, 2 in Austria, and 3 in Ireland. And there's about, I think 35, or maybe, I think it's probably closer to 30 missionaries in total in Europe. So like that includes, higher ups, people who do, help us with visas and things like that. But yeah.
Can I ask you a question about FOCUS? Yeah. So we had Seth was on, and he was a FOCUS missionary, Seth Dwyer. I don't know that we had any other FOCUS missionaries on.
Matt Simmons was.
Okay, Matt was.
Back in the day.
I don't know if we really went into it with those guys, but can you explain what FOCUS is? Because I think some people may have heard the name, but they don't really understand what does a FOCUS missionary do.
Well, so FOCUS, I think actually, funny enough, the organization is kind of moving away from using the acronym of FOCUS and just being called FOCUS Catholic. But FOCUS originally was intended to be the Fellowship of Catholic University Students. So our goal as missionaries is to I can tell you, our mission statement is to know Christ Jesus and fulfill his Great Commission, which is to go, therefore, make disciples of all nations. So that's like our mission statement, and then how we do that is through personal accompaniment with students. So we go to college campuses and essentially build up authentic friendships with students, and us as missionaries strive to lead lives of holiness, and then that inspires the people that we're encountering, and we intentionally live mission, leading Bible studies and retreats and events, and really pursuing students' hearts and encouraging them to grow in their faith, and then challenging them to go out and do the same, essentially.
Cool.
So to make disciples of all nations. that's I guess what we do on like a day to day. It's pretty. It can vary. It depends on your campus as well, especially in Europe, I think, because the American college campus, you have some variety, but in Europe, I feel like personally there's a bigger variety, not only within like language, culture, these things. So day to day is like, yeah, we have, things like meetings with, we work alongside chaplains, in the universities, and with the diocese. So we do like meetings and things, leading Bible studies, getting lunch with guys or coffee, playing basketball, like all these things help encourage that relationship with Christ when we're living, a life of holiness, and people are encountering Christ through us, even if we are, playing basketball or whatever it is.
Is there an age limit to being a FOCUS missionary? Like, I'm sure they look for people that are kind of close in age to the people you're serving, college campuses and stuff.
No, it's just as long as you're still handsome. No, I'm kidding.
The prerequisite.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
No, I don't think so.
Tall. So I know Dylan is 6'3", and right, 6'3".
Yeah, 6'3".
I'm 6'2". How tall are you, Mike? Because I'm like, are we both slouching? We all look about the same height.
6'8". Yeah.
Didn't know that.
I'm on the floor. Just sitting.
Well, we're not actually that far from the floor. So.
My legs aren't tall. My torso is just gigantic, though, so I'm on the floor. I'm 5'9" and a half.
Why do you look so tall on camera?
On the camera?
Are we...
I think it's actually because, well, I don't think this is actually the reason, but I have a very short torso. And you have a long torso.
But I'm slouching. I'm doing it.
Yeah, well, now I'm self-conscious about slouching.
Mike shouldn't be. He looks tall.
Oh, man, yep.
And he looks like he has a beard on camera. He's actually clean shaven, but it's just a shadow. So this is not on a faith topic, but something we were talking about before we started the cameras rolling about what is the lore? Meme lore? What is this?
How old are you first? Just so we get an idea of
I'm 23.
23.
So I have plenty of time on the internet.
So everybody our age, tune in because you're not going to know what he's talking about.
I'm 27. Jonathan, how old are you?
At least 29.
Yep.
Last I checked.
So now we know.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like, when you have an inside joke with friends, and then you start like building inside jokes off of the inside jokes.
Yeah.
This is what I think it is, but based off of memes that like there are like kind of original memes, and then and that was like when kind of memes started. It was probably when like Facebook and Instagram came out, and there was this kind of people were sending each other memes, and then eventually people started making memes that were either making fun of or based off of other memes, and now there's like a whole like history to certain memes. I don't want to give examples because I think they're
How about the hand cupping? You go in a circle and everybody. Have you seen that one?
No, I'm not really on the internet anymore.
What about? I remember back in the day when I Like Turtles was funny. Is that still? Do people know that one still?
The which one?
I Like Turtles. Can you say that?
No, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Some people would maybe reference that. I don't know. It's such a niche like thing that it develops pretty organically. Like it's not like people intentionally, although some people would say that the government's behind it. I don't know how true that is.
The memeing of the memes?
Yeah.
So here's the context is that Dylan has his older brother's a year older and his younger brother's a year and a half or 2 years younger. And so every once in a while they'll start talking about something and laughing. And I'm like, what is it? What are you talking about? And they're like, it's just too hard to explain because it's a meme about a meme that was about a meme. And they're like, just don't worry about it, Dad.
What is a meme?
Well, meme actually, like the word meme, it actually means something that's like passed on or something that's, I think it actually has to do, the word etymologically, I think it actually has to do with reproduction or something.
Can you use
I'm
it?
not sure.
No, I was going to go in the spelling bee. Can you use it in a sentence? The etymology, but you hit on the etymology, so now I got it. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm not.
Yeah.
But now it just means like a funny picture.
Is it shortened for something? Is meme shortened?
No, I don't. I might be.
I wonder.
So it might have like a Latin root, but I think it's just a meme.
So, did you study any languages, Mike? Have you studied languages? Do you know any others? I mean, you don't know English that well.
I'm still trying to get a hold on English.
Yeah, I can tell. No, so Dylan studied language for 5 or 6 years. So, like, he gets the etymology and all that stuff. Where I'm like,
some of it. Yeah, well, actually, I had some friends over last night for. We used to have this tradition when I was in university that like every other month we would do wine and trivia or like something like that, and then it kind of evolved into wine and presentations or something, and so we did one last night. Just had a bunch of people over and we all made like PowerPoint presentations, and everybody just brought over some wine or some cheese and crackers or whatever. And one of the people, she had just gotten married, well, or two of them, they had just gotten married, and they had a little boy, he's 2 months old, and he's the cutest little thing. But they, in their presentation, when I had sent out the invite, I said, bring a presentation. I'm not going to specify what about, just bring a presentation on something. And so you got some crazy topics, but theirs was just kind of an update on their life. And they talked about how they named their son. And it was really beautiful. They'd really prayed through what their last name meant, and then how they wanted to incorporate that into his name. And so but they had talked a little bit about the etymology of the name, and it's a Germanic name, and so they had asked something about the name, and I was like, oh yeah, actually that comes from. So there is some benefit to studying language. And
it's kind of a superpower. You can weigh in sometimes when people have.
Yeah.
So we have watchers, viewers from around the country. We've had some from South
Australia.
America, Australia, the Philippines, some other place. So, assuming that we have a large viewership in Germany, can you say something to people in German so they know you legitimately know German?
And you can't make fun of us. That's the only caveat.
Well, how would we know?
They would know.
That's true.
The people.
They'll be commenting like, "Do you hear what he called you?"
Yeah. Every time somebody asks me to say, they say something. Yeah. They say, "Hey, can you say something in German?" I just say, "Nein."
Yeah.
Like, well played.
But I
clever.
But then they're like, "Oh, come on, say something." But I don't know what to say. Like what, you know.
How about subscribe to the Barn Again podcast? Something like that.
I don't know the word subscribe actually.
He doesn't know German.
Yeah, but then I'd have to. Barn Again is a play on words, and then you know that's
kind of a meme.
It's a meme on a meme.
Meme.
It's a thing we do.
Yeah.
It's actually a triple meme. We started a new trend.
So my older son than Dylan, whose name is Martin, he and I went to visit Dylan in Europe last fall when he was in Ireland, but he got kicked out of Ireland, which is a whole story. But we went to Austria, and I got to hear Dylan interacting with waiters and waitresses and whatnot in German. It was pretty cool. Like
that is cool.
Just hearing him talk with somebody in another language, because he's my son and I raised him. But here he is talking, and I have no idea what he's saying. Except it was funny. We went to a Chinese restaurant, and he's trying to order in the Chinese restaurant, and that went sideways. I've never heard somebody with a Chinese person with a German. That was speaking German, but had a Chinese accent. It was mind blowing.
It was all of the staff there spoke. Well, they all spoke Chinese. I think it was a family, probably.
Yeah.
But then they all spoke German, but none of them spoke English. They had an English menu, but we didn't know that. I think because we sat down and I said something to them in German, and they just gave us German menus.
Shoot.
So we're ordering Chinese food in Austria in German. It was a good time. Eventually, we just pointed at things. We said, "We'll take that."
Yeah. I will say, I didn't get kicked out of Ireland. Just for anybody listening, I didn't get kicked out of Ireland. I just left for, you have to leave to receive your visa. And I was there like as a tourist, and then I got my visa, so I had to leave and then receive it in the airport. So
it wasn't like you were on the border and they had like your belt on one hand and your shirt collar, and they're like, "Get the heck out of here!"
Have you seen that John Wayne movie where he throws that kid in the lake?
Oh yeah.
He's like, I can't swim. And
Big Jake. Maybe.
Is that it?
I don't know. I used to watch a lot of them. Yeah, but
I don't remember, but he just throws him in the lake, and then the mom comes out and she's like, he can't swim, and he goes, can you? She's like, no. He throws her in.
he does.
Classic.
Yeah, so we went over to visit Dylan in Ireland, but he had to leave for the week that we were there, so we ended up just pivoting and going to Vienna and then Milan.
Yeah.
Spent some time there. And so we got back to the States, and 2 days later, Dylan's like, hey, they let me back in Ireland. So our trip to Ireland didn't happen.
Made it.
Yeah, and now I'm not going to live there anymore.
Thanks, Dylan.
I mean, I'll probably go back, I'm sure, but...
Yeah, you have to go back to get your bag you left there.
Oh, yeah, I left a bag in Dublin.
So can I ask you a question? Like, why you graduated from high school, Catholic high school, Pius X, right?
No, I was homeschooled.
You were homeschooled through senior year?
Well, I graduated under the homeschool umbrella.
Okay.
But I went to Lincoln Southwest my junior and senior year of high school. So for my European listeners, that's my last 2 years of secondary school. I went to public school, but I did it under the like homeschool umbrella. So basically, like, I still had all my homeschool transcripts, but then these additional courses were being put into it.
So, but then when did you start getting the idea like Focus might be something I would like to do, or was it just general mission work, or what happened in your life that you started to think about doing something different?
Well, I think I think it was a long time coming in the sense of like, well, I think it's what the Lord desires, and then it just took, however long to get there. But I think it really just came with practice. Like while I was in college, leading men's Bible studies and walking with guys in their faith, and having other men as well who I was involved with, who walked with me in my faith. And so like, being in a Bible study and leading a Bible study and leading a discipleship group, so it's kind of like a close-knit group of men who are growing in their faith more intentionally. And so being in a discipleship group and leading a discipleship group, you kind of have this, it's like in 2 Timothy where, he says, Paul says,
we're on camera. What do you mean the door's locked? Where's Mom? This is Dylan and Jonathan. And then this is the world. Hello, world. Just leave them up there.
I'll get that.
Light's coming through.
Okay, we got to pick back up where we were.
Okay, we need to start from the beginning again.
Do we?
No.
Hi, my name's Jonathan.
Okay, that's funny because I was thinking before that happened, I was like, I need to get a sign that just says like out there so people know. Okay.
Oh yeah, one of those.
They're recording.
Those big lights is
closed.
Studio.
Oh
what
yeah.
Is those signs
on the air.
On air.
On air. Yeah. Oh, you were like, I'm assuming this is going to be edited out. Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, you can edit this out, but where you said that I got kicked out of Ireland, probably don't mention that because, like, that's not. Well, one, it's not really what happened, but because when I was there, it was like technically legal that I was there, but it's like not because I was supposed to be on a work visa.
Yeah.
And whatever. So, but.
So what was that like when you got kicked out of Ireland?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
What did you do to get kicked out of Ireland? Yeah. Well, you addressed it fine. I think you said.
Yeah.
I think people got it, but.
So how do you want to pick back up?
You were kind of talking about. I think the question was like how the Lord was speaking to you about mission work and how you Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember where we ended.
Well, how about this?
I could do a black screen fade to a new, it could be a transition.
Yeah, you can do the boop,
Yeah.
where it's like interruption. Yeah. So I should just pick back up?
Yeah, let's start where you got kicked out of Ireland.
See, that's like a meme. Now it's a thing.
Now it's a thing. Hashtag kicked out of the UK.
Hashtag kicked out of the barn.
So I think
How many places have you been kicked out? That's what the running list of every time Dylan gets kicked out. Here we go. Okay.
Actually, I have a funny story about that I can tell on air, but
tell away about getting kicked out of Ireland.
No. Yeah. Do you want me to just?
Yeah, just jump back in.
Just go. We'll edit
it out.
We'll
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I don't even remember what I was saying now. But I think like having other men who are walking with me, and then men that I am walking with, and I was referencing 2 Timothy, where Paul's writing and he says, what I have, given to you in front of many witnesses, share to other men who will be able to teach other men. And that's sort of like the life of discipleship that we're striving to live as missionaries, is that we live in such a way that is repeatable, and we foster access to a relationship with Christ that is repeatable, and a life of mission that is repeatable. And so like all of our resources and stuff is all online. Like you can just access it, Bible study material. Like there was a student who came, he was in Cork for a semester, amazing guy, really cool, but he's, I believe, from Spain. Maybe he'll see this and be like, what the heck? But we have Spanish, our resources are translated in Spanish and now actually German. So you can access all of our Bible studies and discipleship articles. And he had joined us for some of our Bible studies while he was there for the semester. And I had told him I was like, hey, like this is all very accessible and you can like continue to live this back home. And so he shot me a text when he got back and he was like, hey, where can I find those resources? And so I sent them to him. He said, I'd love to start, leading a Bible study, maybe in his parish or with his friends or whatever it is. But it's very repeatable. And so I think that was part of what drew me in, was this is something that I had a lot of practice living, and I saw the fruit of it. I had like over a dozen guys in my Bible study just as a university student, these guys who are encountering Christ, encountering the Word, and actually turning and going and living that in their everyday life. Some of these guys started their own Bible studies. I actually just ran into one of the guys the other day, and he's like, oh yeah, been leading a Bible study this semester, and it's been really good. And so I think seeing that is really encouraging. But then I think also I'm a very like black and white person, and so I think for me it was very much, Lord, where else will I go? This, you have the words to eternal life. This is eternal life for people. And, I would say, I got two hands. Like, I can do it. And not everybody can, go to Ireland or Austria and have studied the language, German language. But like, I can, and there's a great need. There are people who have never heard the gospel, have never, they don't know what Christ offers. They don't know, and I think also a big thing for me is like people haven't experienced the healing. Like there are so many people, and this is so evident on college campuses. There's so much hurt. I mean, even just like there are, when I was in Ireland, there are days dedicated to drinking. Like that college students just go out from 8 a.m. to probably 8 a.m. again, like just, in the freezing cold and the rain, going from bar to bar, just ruining their lives. It's so sad. And like, there's such a need for the healing that Christ offers. And if I can be part of that, why would I not, or how could I not? So I think that's, and that's that for me, that means serving with focus, but for other people that doesn't, like, obviously you guys run a podcast, or coffee group or whatever, like these are places that people are encountering healing and encountering Christ, explicitly or not,
Well, we were talking about your friend Aaron, who's a missionary, but not with Focus.
Right.
And I remember talking to him about he is with Craig Schuttenbach's group. I forget the name of the
Culture Project.
Culture Project. Yeah, and they have like a whole different subset of people that they're going after. So like, it's cool to see these different missions out there. Like you said, even what we're doing is missionary work. I shouldn't put that in air quotes, but I did. Yeah, so you just got to see where you're called, and God will equip you for whatever that work is.
Yeah, there's this quote that I think is in my circles is way overused, but people, and now it's kind of a meme, but it's that God doesn't call the equipped, He equips the called. And so it's like, well, if you feel called to do something, like the Lord will equip you and prepare you for it. And I think it's one of those things that we take a lot of those phrases for granted. Like when somebody says God loves you, you're not like, oh my gosh, but we should be, but we just get used to it, and then we're like, yeah, whatever, but it's true, I think. Yeah.
Have you so being in Ireland and doing this mission work, you mentioned like people that haven't even heard the gospel. Did you have conversations with people that really had no idea what you were talking about, like they hadn't really heard of Jesus or some of the stories in the Bible? You know what I mean?
Well, I think in Ireland it's maybe a different case because they were so historically Catholic, Christian. So I think everybody knows. I mean, especially because, right? So, the church basically ran the country, and so all the schools, they don't have like here would be you'd say like, oh, you went to a Catholic school? Well, basically all of their schools are Catholic.
Gotcha. Or
nominally are Catholic. So they've all taken, religious ed, and they've heard Bible stories and things. But I think particularly in the last few decades, there's no priests or sisters or really like faithful Catholics who are teaching religious ed. And so you have maybe people would know some stories, or like, you'd receive your sacraments just as part of your coursework in school. It's not, it's kind of just like a get out of school for the day, thing. And so a lot of people are, I would say, just really poorly catechized. So it's not that they haven't heard of Christ, like they have. They certainly don't believe he's God. And they probably haven't thought about whether or not that is important or makes a difference. And yeah, like I think of people who would come to Mass sometimes. You have just some guy will come to Mass. We as missionaries, we go to Mass every day, and there's a Mass offered on campus, and we'd always be there, meeting students if they're coming to Mass and things. And I think like sometimes you'd meet a guy and you're like, oh, so what brought you to Mass today? And he's like, I don't know. Like, my Nana always took me to Mass, figured I should go. But he doesn't know, he probably doesn't even know that, Christ is truly present in the Eucharist, Not in all cases, but in a lot of cases, that is the people that I've encountered.
I think that's true in the U.S. I remember one of our interviews, Mike quoted that statistic, and it's a staggering statistic of how many people don't believe in the true presence of Jesus in the Eucharist.
I think it's over half, isn't it?
I thought it was like 60%.
I think it's like 60%, yeah.
Did I quote it?
I thought you quoted it. It's like a meme thing. I'm quoting you quoting someone.
Yeah.
We don't know what the truth is.
I don't recall.
Just say it with confidence.
I feel like it's the majority do not believe.
Yeah.
If you say it in an accent, then you sound smarter than you are.
Right. You do.
Right, mate.
That's right.
You since you're going to Austria. Good day, mate.
Austria, that shrimp on the barbie. Is that from Dumb and Dumber? Yeah.
Yeah,
Mike
that's a
and I
little Easter egg for our other team member right
quote
there.
that
Right?
occasionally. Oh yeah, they'll love it. So what is it like? I'm being 23 and deciding at, I think you were 22 when you decided to become a FOCUS missionary. Like, what would you encourage other people who might be contemplating, what do I want to do after college? Like, what was that discernment process like for you that you could share with other people, that you could say, yeah, this, I was on the fence, but this really turned the tide for me? Is there anything you can point to help people work through that?
Yeah. I would say, I think, well, I mean with any discernment, like if you can grow in the habit or the virtue of saying yes to Christ in the little things, then saying yes in the big things is going to be natural, you know. So I think for me it was, you know, getting involved in a Bible study, and then making a commitment to daily mass and a daily holy hour, or just time in prayer, reading the scriptures, studying, you know, the teachings of the church, and these things, I think, because I think like they really influenced my intellectual development, and I think we need both, right? We need the intellect and the heart when it comes to discernment, and like I think our hearts need to be healed, which means we need a lot of time in prayer, but like a lot of that comes as well from formation. You know, our intellectual formation, or our catechesis, is the foundation of our faith. You know, we receive, you know, infused faith through baptism, but we have to cultivate that. And so I think, like, we need to keep developing and keep growing. And these things, if we keep growing in holiness and really pursuing the Lord, these things will come naturally. Now, I know, like, serving as a missionary with FOCUS is not a, you know, big V vocation, but it is a vocation in a sense. And our vocations are always gifts. And so we get to receive them. And it's sort of like somebody, who was it? It was Anya Lee, my team director, who was my team director in Cork. Amazing woman. Shout out to her. She said when, I think it was the Pietà was being sculpted. I should know this if it was Michelangelo. I'm pretty sure it was Michelangelo. He said it took him like 6 months to find the right, you know, block of marble, because he said, like, this is the one that has this piece of art in it. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's the same with our vocation, that we get to discover it, that it's already within us, but it takes time to sculpt it out. And I think that comes through our dedication to the sacraments, to prayer, to fellowship, and to our formation. And so I think when we do that, then the Lord provides those little things. So for me, it is currently serving as a missionary with FOCUS. But I think it just starts with, well, being open, and then applying. I always say apply to discern. You know, if you take a year to discern whether or not you're going to enter a religious order or do whatever, and then you never apply, it doesn't matter. But you can always apply, and they can say no, you know. So
yeah, I've always something kind of like that to Mike. A day or two ago, we were talking about the retreat I'm doing in the fall, and that's part of my spirituality, is to just walk through the door and then try the next handle and just see. And if it doesn't open, that's fine. But if I don't turn it, then that's kind of on me. That's kind of what I hear in that. Like, we still have to do. We can't just wait for God to drop everything in our laps.
Yeah, and I think as well, like, even praying for the Lord to close the door if it's not His will. Like, that was a big prayer of, or that prayer is inspired by the prayer of, I believe it was Curtis Martin, who is one of the founders of FOCUS, would often pray this prayer of, like, kill focus. Like, Lord, if this is not your will, kill it, shut the door. And I think that was similar for me, where I'm like, I've just been asked to move overseas and serve as a full-time missionary. Like, I've been doing my best to live mission on campus and in my community, but doing that full-time in a foreign country, all these things was like, it's such a big change. I was like, Lord, if this is not your will, like, kill it quick, because I'm filling out paperwork. You
got
know,
stuff to do, right?
Yeah, I got to get my visa and things like that.
That's a really powerful prayer. I guess I think there's so many things that we desire, that we hope come to fruition, but when you start off by saying, I think this is your will, but if it's not, please end it. Like, don't let this linger on. Don't let me get wrapped up in it. Please end it quickly so that I can focus on what's really important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because ultimately we're seeking His will, and sometimes we think our will is His will.
And if you want true peace and happiness and joy by doing His will, then that will come. So yeah, that's great. Can I ask you a question about? So we were talking. This would have been a couple weeks ago. I think we were just visiting, and you mentioned that you had been on the Camino
de Santiago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you? I am fascinated with that, and there was a movie that came out called The Way, and it was really amazing. But anyway, would you like to talk about that at all? Like, what that experience was like, and I mean, how long is that? How many miles?
Well, it depends. So it depends which route you're doing. So there's a bunch of different routes. It's the Camino de Santiago, or the Way of St. James. It's essentially, so St. James, right, one of the disciples of Christ, he preached in Spain and, did some traveling in these things and sharing the gospel. And then his remains are kept in Santiago, in Spain. And the tradition started as to follow his footsteps, basically where he walked as a pilgrim, to Santiago, where his remains are kept. But then it kind of developed into, you have a French route and a Portuguese route and all these different ones. I would say the French and the Portuguese are probably the most popular, as far as I know. And then those would branch off as well. So we did the Portuguese route. So we started in Portugal near Porto. We landed in Porto, and then it was about 270 kilometers or 180 miles, basically north through Portugal up through Spain. But we took like more of a coastal route. But you can go, like they call it like the spiritual route, and all these things. You can cut through the forest or go through certain villages or whatever. But it was amazing. I mean, it was so good. There was it was 8 students, myself and one other missionary. He's a missionary in Belfast, Michael, and then we brought our beloved Father Brendan from Dublin, and we just all got together. It's guys from Dublin, Belfast, and Cork, are 3 campuses that have FOCUS on them in Ireland, and we just threw in our packs and walked 180 miles. Obviously we wanted it to be formative and prayerful and these things, so Michael and I prepared this, the journey to be really filled with the practices mentioned in Acts 2:42, where it talks about sort of what the early church committed themselves to, which is prayer and the sacraments, formation and fellowship. And so we prayed the liturgy of the hours, we prayed the breviary every day as a group of men, and we had mass every day and a silent hour of hiking for just quiet prayer in the mornings, which is really cool, and helped wake the guys up, I think, if they were grouchy. Because you start walking at like 5 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, or earlier. And we just had a lot of time for just chatting with these guys. Like, they're just amazing guys. Yeah. And so we just spent a lot of time together, and we got to see some cool towns and coastal areas, and talk about our blisters, and eat lots of beans and rice.
What do you pack, like, when you're traveling light, I'm imagining, right?
Yeah, I think most of us, I would say, well, a good handful of us probably overpacked. Like, I think, and this is maybe because I love camping and hiking and backpacking and these things. I don't mind being stinky, and I don't mind being sweaty, and
neither does your dad.
Yeah, exactly. I can smell him from here. And so, like, I was like, I probably should have brought less, really. But there were guys who, brought a change of socks for every day. And it's up to you how you do it, But I tried to pack pretty light. Because you're walking 180 miles. Every ounce on your back, it accumulates,
Wow.
So, but it's really cool because then I think it's very prayerful, and it's very, so, yeah.
Dylan said he lost 7 pounds when he got done with the Camino. He got back to the States and weighed himself at my place, and he's like, whoa, I dropped 7 pounds. But one of the practical things, which I thought was kind of interesting and not funny per se, but like, Dylan's a zero shoe guy, so zero drop, like minimalist shoes. And so I was texting him most of the days he was on the Camino. Not all, but a few. And that was one of the first things you brought up. You're like, my feet are killing me. Because he wore the barefoot shoes, and he's like, but those aren't made for like walking on concrete. And for a whole day, which is like 15 miles, they were walking on concrete.
Yeah.
And you said it crushed your feet.
Well, it depends. Like, I would say my feet were probably doing better than a lot of the guys. I never got a blister. I didn't get, like, it was just the muscles were sore from walking. And I mean, humans aren't meant to walk on concrete anyway, and I won't get on that soapbox, but, like, you can take routes that go more on, like, trails and through the forest or whatever. But the route that we did, we were on pavement a lot, which is not really great, especially when you're wearing, thin shoes that are more, I would say, more for, humans are meant more for walking on dirt and grass and trails and things. So
only for the past handful of thousands of years.
Yeah, exactly. So, really, but it was just the muscles. Like, I think my muscles were just sore from all the walking, and you're carrying a bag as well, and these things. But a lot of the guys had pretty bad blisters, actually. But I think it was more fatigue. That was why my feet were hurting, probably.
Are you, like, stopping at hostels then along the way? And you're at, like, I keep referencing the movie The Way with Martin Sheen, I think is anyway, it's and Emilio Estevez is in it too. It's a great movie. It's an old movie, but I keep thinking about their trip, and I see them there a lot. They're, like, stopping at a place and they're having a glass of wine, and is that kind of what you experience? Actually, maybe you shouldn't answer that, because then I'm going to be sad if it's not, like, in my brain of what I picture.
We were pretty consistent with maybe stopping once or twice during the day. And most of the time it was at a cafe for a cafe con leche. Or
milk?
if they
Is that
had
milk?
Yeah.
Just with
coffee with milk.
Oh, okay.
Or for a tea. I actually have pictures of one of the guys had kept tea bags in his fanny pack. Like, I was actually surprised how much Irish people love their tea. And they're, like, we would stop places, and actually one of the guys, we were out there, and we couldn't find black tea, because that's what they drink, is black tea with a bit of milk. And everywhere just had like green tea or herbal tea or something. And the guys were like, oh my gosh, I just want a cup of tea, you know? And we ended up going somewhere that they had black tea. And one of the guys, maybe I shouldn't say who, maybe I should, I don't know. He like, after he was done with his cup of tea, he'll know, if he sees this, he'll know what I'm talking about. He took his tea bag out and like wrung it out, you know?
And then it again?
And then he put it in his like pocket in his shirt. And he's like, just in case I don't find another tea bag.
Funny.
He's like, I need this, you know?
That's funny.
And they would like, it was like, they would like hand them out to each other. They were like, oh yeah, I got like 10 tea bags left. Like, you want one? Like
kids trading cards.
Yeah, exactly.
It was like, yeah.
But so we would often stop for a cup of coffee along the way, especially because, I mean, we'd get up at 5, and then well, the goal, sometimes we were a little bit later than this, but we'd get up at 5 and we'd pray morning prayer at 5:15, and then we'd be on the trail by 5:30 for our first hour. We did silent, and then we'd pray rosary together, and then just kind of chat for the rest of the day. We'd always stop, but because I think people were like, we got up early and we were probably up later than we should have been, and so guys were tired and wanted a coffee or whatever. So
did you guys, was there like, from a practical standpoint, did you guys take like a deck of cards? Like, did you do things in the evenings, or were you pretty much spent from the day?
Usually when we'd get to whatever city we were going to, we were pretty tired, and so the guys would either shower, take a nap, or run to the shop. People have been making fun of me for saying run to the shop, or go to the shop, go to the store, the grocery store, to get some food or something. But usually it depends what we had for hostel situation sounds bad. Our hostel situation would, if there was a kitchen there, usually myself and the other missionary, Michael, we'd cook something, and usually it was some sort of rice, beans, or both, or chorizo. And I don't think I will ever eat chorizo again. We just ate so much of it. But so usually Michael and I would run to the shop, grab some ingredients, and cook dinner for the guys. And then in the evenings, I think people were pretty exhausted. Sometimes we did, I think there were a couple of decks of cards brought, or it depends where we were as well. Sometimes people would want to see something, or we might catch a late mass. If we didn't do mass, sometimes on the trail you'd find a chapel, and we could just have mass there, or just like an altar out in wherever, and we could have mass then. Sometimes we'd have to put it in the evening or whatever. So
I thought I heard you mention to me earlier that the hostels were maybe even like subsidized by the government?
I think so, because they're like, it's pretty popular, and anything obviously it brings in tourism and these things. So, excuse me, I think they are. Well, they're pretty cheap.
For those who aren't bilingual like Mike, and I learned this the hard way, hostel is not a European word for hotel. So I thought it was when I went and saw Dylan in Austria, and I was like, yeah, grab a hostel. Sounds great.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in a hostel?
No.
So hostels are dumps.
Yeah.
Well, no.
Not all of them. The one we went to, just smelled like homeless people, which is fine. But
a lot of beds, right? I mean,
you're sharing, it's just cots.
Yeah.
And people from all over. And we had some guy who was snoring in the middle of the day and disappeared at 4 a.m. and weird stuff.
I didn't even know people could snore that loud.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Like
Steve, that was his name.
Was it?
I hope
Yeah.
you're watching, Steve.
Steve, dang it.
No offense,
you owe me
Steve.
8 hours of sleep.
Subscribe.
Yeah, I thought he had like a medical condition. Well, he probably does, but I was just like, there's an emergency. There's a bear in our hostel right now. Eating Steve.
Yeah, so hostel does not mean hotel. So his brother and I, we went to England first, and then we met Dylan in Vienna. And in England, my dad's uncle lives there, and he put us up in a nice hotel, and they had a proper English breakfast in bed with toast and jam and tea and all the stuff. And I was like, this is vacation. This is the life. And then we get to Vienna, and Dylan's like, yeah, I grabbed a hostel, and so I'm like, well, just give us a pin drop for the address. And we're like walking around this slum.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I was already staying there, so I was like,
Which Dylan's like, oh, this is actually a nice one. I'm like, uh-oh, this is going downhill.
Yeah, I mean, well, it depends where you are, but like the ones that we stayed in there were some like that in Portugal and into Spain and stuff. But you can find some that are really great. Like there was a hostel that was, it used to be like a minor seminary, and they had renovated it and made it into this giant hostel. It was actually quite nice. I mean, it was a nice big building. Like it wasn't that old, but
What's the ratio, like the men, so specifically men, we'll target them, as they're walking the Camino de Santiago, is that correct? As they're walking this, what is the ratio of clean-shaven men to bearded men?
there's probably more. Well, at the beginning or at the end?
Good
I don't know.
At the end, there's
I hadn't
more
thought that
bearded.
far ahead.
180 miles.
I'm
would make a difference.
assuming it gets pretty rough out there, and
Yeah.
not a lot of guys are shaving. I'm just a I'm a beard advocate. I just was kind of curious.
I haven't shaved in 3 weeks trying to grow one.
Are you getting your own one?
Can you? No.
Oh.
I want to get that checked out.
It's a medical condition I have. I shaved yesterday.
Yeah, there was. I would say I don't really know. I feel like we saw a lot of clean shaven. It depends how old they were. Yeah, if they were younger people. Like a lot of our guys were clean shaven. I didn't shave. I was like, what? I carry a razor the whole way.
Yeah, this is extra.
You know?
That's an extra 4 ounces.
Yeah, and then I got to spend, however much time shaving. And I was like, what a waste of time. It's like showering. Like, waste of time, right? Right?
You see why hostels are so
Right.
terrible? That's what I'm saying.
Well, we are in a barn, so
Yeah.
it's okay.
So, Dylan, one of the things I know you mentioned with the trip into the Camino is that you got daily mass in. And I've noticed since you've been back, you've been staying with me, and you have a devotion for daily mass. And I know that Mike does as well. It's like a non-negotiable. And I think it's the same for you. So can you share a little bit about that? Like why is that way for you? And yeah, why?
That's a good question. I think it's out of necessity. Like, I think I need the grace so bad. Like, I think I just, yeah, I need God. And I mean, it's scriptural too, right? Our daily bread, and Christ is the bread of life. And so I think there is an invitation from Christ to, make this a daily habit. But I think it's, everything we do builds habit or builds virtue. Virtue being a firm disposition to do the good, or a habitual disposition. And so everything we do builds virtue or vice. And so I think, like, even just that of, like, centering my day around the Eucharist, one, again, like I said, I need the grace. Like, I need Christ. But I think it also builds up that habit of centering everything in my life around the most important moment of the day. Like, I think we were talking the other day, and somebody had said that, like, and I 100% agree. Like, after Mass, I'm like, nothing else matters in my day. If I do anything for the day, obviously it's important that I fulfill my obligations and things, but, like, if the Lord wants to take me now, like, I couldn't be happier. you know. But I also think it's very similar to, right, as the body of the church, we are espoused to Christ, and that's the Mass, you know. Like the Mass is the marital embrace of Christ to his church, by which we increase in holiness. The same in the sacrament of matrimony. Like, you know, there is an increase in holiness and a reception of grace by means of the marital embrace. And so in the same way, you know, I should live this with Christ, who I will be eternally espoused to, you know, in heaven. I think that's what it is for me. It's also accessible, and like, why, in a sense, obviously this is maybe a rhetorical question, but why wouldn't I? You know, like, it's like saying, should you pray every day? Yes. No questions. You should pray every day. Now, how that looks is maybe different or whatever. But if the Mass is the ultimate form of prayer, then I was going to say, oughtn't I prioritize it? But that, I don't think that's a word, oughtn't. That sounds like a word that Irish people would make up. Like they say things like, use. Are yous coming over today? Or like, yeah, I don't know. So those are my thoughts, I guess. Yeah.
One word I like to think about. It's going to sound bad as soon as I said it. So like, we consume Jesus, and you're a linguist, right? Is
Sure.
that fair to say? So we consume the body of Jesus Christ, and he enters into us. And so would that come from consummation?
I actually thought of that right when you said that. I actually don't know if that's true, but yeah, they're fair play, as Irish say.
I mean, I speak one language.
Yeah, but I think there is some truth to that, even like neurologically, how you?
It's like nuclear and nuclear
or aluminium, whatever. Like when Thermos.
As a shout out to my buddy Steve.
Thermos.
He's from Boston. He's from Worcester, Massachusetts, and he called it thermos, but it was, never mind.
We had one of those on the way here, melancholy, and Dylan pronounces it
melancholy.
Oh, that's a new one.
That comes from, you know, have you seen the movie Megamind?
No.
Where he's like, you know, it's like he's got the big blue head.
Yeah.
That on the way over here, Dad goes, Megamind, is that the one where the guy has the big head? And I was like, all right, say that sentence again slowly.
He literally said, he's like, slow down what you just said and think about it. The guy with the big head called Megamind? Yeah, Dad.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's the movie.
He has the big blue head, and he's like, and he's got he like dresses like totally goth, and he's like, after he takes over the city, he becomes like depressed basically, because he's like, there's no one to fight and whatever, and he says, why do I feel so melancholy?
That sounds like something Ben Stiller would say.
Yeah.
Is it Ben Stiller? Is he in that at all?
I actually don't know who that is.
I don't know who the voice is. I have a friend.
It's like a cartoon.
She talks about melancholy all the time. I'm gonna start saying melancholy to her and see what she says.
Yeah. But
because he uses the word for eulogy, eugoggly. I can't think what movie that is. Somebody else will weigh in on.
Did you think he was having like a stroke when he said that?
Oh, he's like, well,
okay.
It's funny. We had this conversation at a funeral, and somebody was like, "You're such a good eugologist, or eugogologist, or whatever, because you're given the eulogy."
Yeah,
sounds like a doctor. Are you a eugologist?
So somebody, if you understand what I'm talking about, please weigh in and thumbs up. Right?
I'm not that good with language.
So back to Jesus.
Yeah.
Consume and consummate. I think that was where we were.
Well, but I think this is actually, I talked to somebody about this last night at our wine night. This could be erroneous, I don't know, but this is what I have heard, is that the part of our brain that reacts when we like see something as cute or like something that we want to be around. Like I think of when you see a baby and you're like, oh, I could just eat you up. Like, well, because the part of your brain that's firing actually wants to eat them. Not like actually eat them. Like you don't actually desire to consume the
But
person.
like to take them in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you want to be close with them, and your brain's best way of doing that is to eat them,
consume them.
and that's why I think particularly Christ comes to us through the Eucharist, and that's why that's why people kiss. Gross. Is because they want to eat each other, kind of.
That reminds. So before we started the episode, we were talking about there's a lot of like Native American things in here.
Yeah.
And when I was on the reservation, they killed a buffalo, and they talk about, maybe they even talk about it in some movies too, but they talk about you eat the heart, like you take a bite out of the heart, because then you consume their spirit, or you become like one with that animal's spirit. Sure. I think maybe you gain their power or something, but sort of in the same. But we eat Jesus's heart.
Yeah.
Which is really mind blowing too.
Yeah, there were some of the North American martyrs even. I think it was John A. Brebeuf or Isaac Jogues. I don't remember, but they would when they tortured him to death, because he would part of their I think it was the Mohawks when they would kill you, they would do it really slowly and painfully, but if you screamed in pain, you kind of lost, and so he was praying for them and interceding and preaching the gospel while he was being tortured to death, and they did some horrible things to him, but one thing that they did was they cut off bits of his flesh and ate it because he was so brave, and they wanted to inherit his courage, basically.
Wow. So cultures believe consuming through your mouth, potentially you're gaining something, which, yeah, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you looking forward to, if you even know yet, but in Austria? It's going to be a new place for you. You said Krems is primarily English-speaking university or campus, but it's in Austria, so Austria is a German-speaking country. I almost said company. What are you looking forward to, anticipating, or even nervous about? The unknowns of moving to a new country, a new university.
Yeah, I think as far as I know, Krems University is more international. So there is more English-speaking students around. Austria itself, it depends where you are, but is German speaking, or there's dialects of German and whatnot. But I'm always excited to meet new students, and particularly, obviously, as a man, my duty is more to serve the men, and so to meet the men's community and see what the brotherhood is like there, and to just connect with those men, and looking forward to that. There's things that I love, like rock climbing, camping, hiking, and those things are definitely popular in Austria. So I look forward to things like that. I think I'm really I'm excited to spend more time with my team. A really good team this year. Not that I didn't last year, but just very excited to spend time with them. And I think leading. I really love leading retreats, putting on events, things like that. And we do a lot of that. And I think just seeing what the campus needs in terms of the spiritual well-being of the students, and saying, how can we best facilitate healing or growth or whatever it is in this area, and through maybe it is a retreat or an event or whatever it might be. Yeah, I'd say.
Your time in Ireland, was there some really great people that you met, or things that you did in Ireland that I picture someday maybe some of those guys, if you share this link with them, that they'd watch it. So I don't know if there's anything that was really kind of amazing or I don't know, something you could share. I know from our family history, like I think I said maybe at the beginning, my grandma's from County Cork, so I just what was kind of neat there that you experienced?
Yeah, there's definitely a really cool community there. There were some really, really great guys and ladies as well. I just probably spent less time with them. Yeah, I think it's cool to see the faith community that's growing there. That is, it's because we've only had FOCUS Missionaries in Cork this was our second year there. And so to see the community like growing is really, really cool. Yeah, there've been some really amazing guys. Like we did a lot of hiking and a bit of camping and things like that. And those are the things that I really love. I found that to be really amazing, especially when you're with the guys and you're hiking up, we hiked the tallest mountain in Ireland, Carntool, with a group of guys, and we camped at the base, and like that was really, really amazing, really fun. We like made burgers over the fire, and it was really just good times. We had mass in the tent. It was so windy, like the tent basically like collapsed on all of us in the middle of the night. Like it was really goofy, but it was really, really fun. And climbing the mountain was really fun. And
how tall is the mountain? Like in Colorado, you did a bunch of 14ers. Was it higher than that?
I think it would have been roughly the same, like hike, like from base camp, but you're at such a lower altitude. I mean, you're at sea level basically, which made it so much easier. Like when you're in Colorado, like, you're at altitude and you're gonna get sick if you don't prepare or whatever. And this was so much easier, which was really nice. Now I will say the weather was a lot worse in Colorado. If you have a week of sun, it's like you just pick a day in there and just go, and as long as you're off the mountain by 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, you're not gonna run into any storms or anything. But in Ireland, like it was sunny, and then we started hiking and it started raining, and then it was hailing, and then it was sunny again, and then it started raining again, all in the span of like 2 hours or whatever.
Very Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yeah, exactly. That was really cool though. When we a lot of them as well would have like a cross on top or a chapel, or even like the one that we did, I think it was Mount Brandon, had Stations of the Cross all along the way up. And so we had a group that we went up and prayed each of the stations while we were going, and then ate lunch at the top and came back down. Yeah.
So Mike and I are not super smart or geographically intelligent, and I remember, I think it was Ireland we were talking about.
No.
Well, I won't say yours.
You can say it. I don't care.
Mine was, Dylan and I were talking, and he was talking about cliffs and mountains and stuff, and I was like, well, I asked something about how high above sea level are you, and there was a pause, like, it's an island, Dad. Yeah. We're at sea level. Like, oh, man. And then what was...
And my comment was like, well, can you take the train anywhere, like other countries? And... yeah, well, you're like, well, was it you or was it somebody else? I can't remember. Was it you? You're like, well, maybe it was because after you learned it was an island. Then I was like, oh, it's an island. Okay, well, then that would... well, and then somebody at Coffee Friday was talking about Ireland, and they mentioned the same thing about, like, couldn't you take a train or something?
That's right.
So anyway, we're not the brightest, smartest. You mentioned having a hamburger at the base, having hamburgers. So that I have two questions about that. So I don't know anything much about. I mean, I am Irish, but I don't know like what sort of food is their staple or what they enjoy, other than I've heard of potatoes, right? I'm offending a whole country now, right?
Yep.
It's like, yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Like Germans just eat sauerkraut.
Just hang in there. Don't. But the other question, I guess, is like, if we were to go to Ireland, would you recommend in Cork, like, oh, you got to go to this cafe, or you got to go to this pub, or is there something that you would recommend? Like, if I were going, because I do want to someday, having the history in Cork. I think for some reason Nebraska is very heavily, and maybe a lot of people from Cork came to Nebraska, but my question is like, what would be their staple of what you ate a lot of that was really good, and then would you recommend a pub or a cafe if I were ever to go, or if somebody's there now and they're like, hey, you got to check this place out?
Yeah, I would say, first off, well, actually a few things. One, unless your parents are from Ireland, or like you were born there or something, or they were born there, you're like not Irish.
Oh.
Now you may be
Get
like,
out of here.
yeah, because I think like, who on our side is from Waterford?
Yeah, it's our great. I think my great uncle is who it is.
Something like that.
Yeah, we found the lineage, and he's from. Was it Waterford or County Cork?
Waterford.
Was it Waterford?
Yeah.
Okay, I sent it to you.
But like, we're not Irish. Like, because I think most people have Irish heritage, but like if you go there and you're like, well, I'm Irish, they'd say, oh, what county are you from? Well, my great, and they're like, all right, so you're not Irish. We're happy to have you here, but you're not. I don't claim to be Irish. You know, I think that's interesting. But I would also say, I don't think most people would recommend going to Dublin. I wouldn't personally. I've been there and it's fine, but it's nowhere like Cork or. Now I'm probably gonna get hate for that, but I just think like Dublin is, everyone's like, oh, you gotta go, like it's the capital, go to Dublin. It's like, I think people might not like this either, but if someone's like, oh, I'm going to Nebraska, I probably wouldn't say go to Omaha. I would say go to Lincoln, right?
I'm from Omaha. I'm just saying.
I won't take that back. I think Lincoln it's more community centered. It's a little bit cleaner, and there's
Omaha's diverse and has a lot to offer. The Henry Doyley Zoo, et cetera,
sure.
et cetera.
Or you can get shot.
How you feeling, Mike? How you feeling?
I'm not Irish anymore. I'm not Omaha's.
Well, you won't probably.
My mom's half Irish, so
okay.
Am I close? She's half.
You can say that to the Irish and see how they accept you. I don't know.
I will. I'm going to say that to them.
But I think there are some really good spots. Now, of course, if you want to go to Dublin or Omaha, you can. But I think like Ireland is so much more. It has so much more to offer. But I would say I think you should check out Dublin at some point, maybe for a day. But I wouldn't plan most of your trip around being in Dublin. But I would say there's some good spots in Cork. In terms of food, I personally, like, I don't really eat out a lot. Like, I just love cooking and want to cook with the guys or whatever and make some food. They do eat a lot of potatoes. This is true.
You're right, Mike.
Wow, I am nailing it today. Megamind. Just call me Megamind.
With that big head, yeah, that's it.
They do eat a lot of potatoes, and they do love their potatoes. Their dairy is very good, and their beef is very good. But I don't really know. Like, when I think of like Irish cuisine, I really don't think of anything, because in my experience, there's not been like. I think I've had like a roast once while I was there, and that would be maybe more typical in terms of like. Traditional Irish food would be like a roast or a stew or something, because for most of their history, like Ireland was in poverty, and I think now they still eat similar things, but in different ways. Like they eat a lot of chips or like fries, I noticed that a lot.
Fish and chips? Do they do fish and chips?
Yeah, fish and chips.
Yeah.
I would say fish and chips is actually good if you go to the right chipper. There's your, you can get some good chips, or a fish and chips shop.
Is there a good place in Cork you'd say, great fish and chips?
I don't know if I actually ever had fish and chips in Cork. When I did, it was in Dublin. I forget the place that we went to.
When you were slumming it in Dublin.
Right, yeah. I would say there is a cool spot in Cork called the Marina Market, and we would go there. It's on the marina, and it's a market.
Cool.
And they actually have really great burgers there.
They have a marina because it's an island.
Oh.
Yeah, so
they like burgers. Like burgers.
They do like
is,
burgers. Yeah.
I just felt like that was an American.
They have this thing that my friends love that I say this, I think. They call them spice bags, and they're very good. This is if you were like, pick one Irish cuisine, I'd be like, spice bag. Actually, I think that was my last meal in Ireland, was a spice bag. Myself and Anya, she was in Dublin, and I was flying out of Dublin, and we got spice bags. And
I call your dad Spice Bag.
That's interesting.
You big spice bag.
That's my stage name.
It can be called worse things.
It's true. So what's in a spice bag?
What's in a spice bag?
Chicken goujons.
Which are
it's like
Explain it to me like I'm 5.
So it's like chicken strips, or fried like breaded fried chicken, or chicken tenders. I don't know, whatever you want to call them. Chicken strips, chicken tenders, chips or fries, and sometimes there'll be like peppers and onions, like sautéed peppers and onions, and then they throw in a seasoning, and I don't actually know what it is. They call it like an Asian spice, but it's not. Well, I'm not really sure what it is. I think I'd read off the ingredients too at one point, but it's just really good.
Wrapped in a burrito type?
No, just in a bag, like in a brown paper bag.
And so you just pick the individual things out and eat them.
Yeah, or if you have a fork, stick them, or chopsticks, except they don't really use chopsticks there. And it's just really good. I don't know why. It's just delicious. There's a place that does really good spice bags in Cork, but I don't remember what it's called. I know exactly where it is. It's right near
McDonald's?
Yes. No.
There's probably McDonald's.
There is McDonald's.
Cork.
What's it? What's that?
There's somebody
church?
in Ireland right now that's watching. They're going, just say it. I'm going to go there this afternoon.
Oh, I'm going to give me a pint. No, I better not say that because that's going to be offensive.
Yeah. It's Holy Trinity. It's right near Holy Trinity.
Okay.
There's a Capuchin priory, but it's really close to. I wonder if the Capuchins ever go there for spice bags.
Does anybody else call it capuchin? Is that just me?
Well, no, I don't.
Okay.
I mean, it's one of the guys.
What are the two ways to say it?
Capuchin and capuchin.
Oh.
Well,
I actually don't know if this is. Oh, it'd be Italian. Cappuccino. Like the drink.
Really?
It's the same word. I think it's actually because they.
I wouldn't call it cappuccino.
Is it because it's... I don't want to say brown, but...
I
habits
remember...
are brown, right?
Yeah.
Capuchins or no? I don't know.
Yeah, Capuchins were brown habits. But I don't know...
And scapulars are brown.
Yeah, I remember actually seeing a Capuchin explain this, but I don't remember what he said. It has something to do with the way that the Capuchins made coffee for people or something like that.
Oh. So Capuchins were first, and then cappuccino came from their order?
I guess so.
Oh,
maybe. That could be totally wrong. Somebody needs to fact check.
Seth Dwyer.
Seth would know.
Yeah, he was in study for their order.
Phone a friend.
Seth, if you're watching, comment so we know.
Do it right now.
He's like, yeah, the whole order was based off of coffee.
Yeah.
And now they pray and stuff.
Which actually, well, I mean, I think I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, there's monks that brew beer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah.
Yeah, there are some good local beers in Cork. Beamish and Murphy's, and obviously Guinness. They're all pretty good. They're not. Myself and my buddy Rory agreed that there's actually a better stout in Cork than all three of those.
Don't say that.
I know I probably shouldn't say that, but we had all four of them, and we were like, no, this one's actually better.
What is it?
I think it's called a White Stag Stout.
Can you get it in America?
I don't know.
I wonder if because we have had Thad on, and Thad from the Boiler Brewery. We've had it, so it'd be great if anybody knows where we can get it. That'd be great to have on and do a little blind taste test maybe
Taste
with
test?
Thad's.
Yeah.
His is international, like, right? I
Yeah.
mean, this stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted.
No.
you.
Yeah. They're good beers.
So spice bags. I think that's where we left off. That was your favorite.
Yeah, that would be my in terms of cuisine. I mean, I love.
Just sounds funny.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's not a steak with it's a spice bag.
Yeah, it's a sack with chips and chicken. Yeah. But like, I mean, what everybody I think often thinks that, I mean, American Irish cuisine is like corned beef, cabbage, whatever. Although corned beef isn't really, it is kind of Irish, but it's also kind of not. It was really, I think it was considered Irish because Ireland was the biggest corned beef packing plant that shipped internationally, and so people thought that corned beef was Irish then, and then it became that tradition, I guess. But
Gotcha.
Look, I actually love corned beef and cabbage. We would always have it on St. Patrick's Day, but I was actually in Italy on St. Patrick's Day, so I wasn't even in Ireland.
Is it a pretty big day over there? I mean, I know St.
No.
Patrick, and
Yeah,
we celebrate
it is.
it. We celebrate it here, but I know, with the St. Patrick, and I just
Yeah, they would have like a parade and things. I actually don't. I think people just go to the parade and then go out drinking. That's probably most of the holidays. People just go out drinking.
You've been in Germany for Oktoberfest, weren't you?
Mm-mm.
You were?
No,
Oh, maybe that was my sister.
I had just missed it. I think when I studied there. Yeah, she went.
was St. Patrick from Austria. Where was he from? He wasn't from Ireland.
I think he was French.
He was captured as a
Actually,
slave,
Yeah, I'm not sure if he was French
taken
or
to
English.
Ireland. I should know this.
Pretty sure he
but,
was French.
He's
That I should know that.
Oh, this is what happens in the barn. I quoted Augustine or Aquinas, and Mike corrected me like it was the other one. Like
Yeah.
we're pretty simple folk.
we
here.
as soon as we can latch onto something to degrade the other person, right?
Yeah.
He was Saint Patrick's, my confirmation saint, so I should know where he's from. But I know it's like Bulgaria, maybe, or something like that. I can't remember. Not from Ireland. I know that.
Yeah, he's definitely not from Ireland. Yeah.
Hmm.
But he's a cool saint.
Yeah.
I wanted to see if Mike was going to say something, but I'm just looking at him.
He's just praying.
Yeah, I was going to ask
Fell
you.
asleep for a minute.
So, was it the first time they had Sikh in Europe last year? You helped
Yeah.
out?
Yeah, so normally we'd have Sikh in America. We had last year it was in Salt Lake City and DC and also in Cologne, Germany.
And that's put on by FOCUS, right? It is a FOCUS.
Yeah. So
conference.
for anybody who's listening who doesn't know what it is, it's just like our annual conference. There's speakers and usually there's like a concert or and there's events and vendors and it's like a week-long conference. So we did it for the first time.
When you say it that way, it sounds small, but like I think a year or two ago, there was like 30,000
Yeah, it was like
people.
30,000 people.
Mhm.
Yeah, Mass was like, even just communion at Mass took like 45 minutes, And there was like 200 priests,
Jeez.
Which is really amazing. But so this time we did it in Cologne, Germany, which is really just a huge gift. Beautiful cathedral there. We got to have Mass. I think that was it was really cool because I think the highlight for a lot of people was Mass in the cathedral. Even it was freezing cold. We're all in our coats and coats and boots and stuff. But it was just really beautiful. You have, I think we had probably close to 50 priests there. There was a cardinal who visited us for a day, and bishops and things. And it was just like beautiful Mass. We had really, some days we'd have more traditional music, and some days we'd have more contemporary music at Mass, and it was just really just amazing because it was almost 600 students, I think it was, which was just huge, like to see that many faithful young Catholics get together. I think it was really impactful for the church there, just to see that. And it was really good for the students as well. We have talks throughout the day, and they all come together for a keynote, and then they might split up. And also some of the talks were in German, so German speakers got to go to those. And it was just an amazing event. I didn't get to see too much of it because I was, like I said, there's only like 30 missionaries in all of Europe with FOCUS. So it was like all hands on deck, putting this conference on, because there's 1,000 in America, and between two conferences, it's not hard to staff it, but it's a little bit harder in Europe currently. So I didn't get to see too much of this stuff, but I was kind of I was helping with like mics and some of the sound stuff in the display, but like our soundboard or like our where my stuff was all set up was like right next to the stage, so everybody who's watching the conference or watching the talk can see me, and it was just kind of funny because that I was like doing that stuff in one of the rooms where they'll have a keynote speaker in the morning and then break out into men's and women's talks. And so I was in the room where the women's talk was. So it was just all these ladies and then myself. And like the lady who was speaking was like, "It's just us ladies." And then like everybody kind of looked at me and she's like, "Well, and you." And I was like all right. I'm just invisible here. Like it was just really funny because it was like in Seek in America, you'd never have something like that because it's enormous, like you can just get lost in the sea. And there's a beautiful, there's kind of a wow factor of like, look at how many students there are, look at how many priests and sisters, and that's just amazing. It really uplifts you. But I think also you miss that kind of intimacy where you can kind of make a joke or whatever it is, so I thought that was really, really cool. And then we got to afterwards, the students from Cork and Dublin went up to Berlin for a few days and just looked at some museums and hung out, spent more time in prayer and Mass, and it was just really cool trip. Yeah.
What do you think you want to do when you're done with FOCUS?
I don't know. It's kind of I feel like it's a hard question to answer because I've committed to serving with FOCUS, full time, and I'm going to stick to that resolution until I'm guided elsewhere by the Lord. Like, so if I'm just going to kind of, stick to this and be attentive to what he says, and if he's like, I want you to X, Y, or Z, then I'll do that. But I have no intention of leaving FOCUS anytime soon, unless the Lord calls me to something else, so I mean, I have desires, but I think a big desire of mine is to see healing in the church in Europe, and so I find it hard to imagine at least leaving that mission of like, if I'm called to a religious vocation, like I'd like to do that in Europe probably. Or if I'm called to marriage, like I think there's a beautiful witness of raising a family in, Germany or Austria or whatever it is. That can be a great witness, and living mission in the parish. And yeah, so I don't know. I just desire to follow the Lord wherever He's calling me, and currently that means moving to Austria. And if He, wants me to stay on longer, happy to do it. If He wants me to, he better tell me what He wants me to do. If He wants me to do something else, so otherwise I'm happy to just keep serving these people.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we have a. Do you want to grab the basket?
I do.
Yeah. So I don't know if you're familiar with this.
Have
we
you
got a
watched?
basket of eggs.
It's actually it's actually interesting to see when we ask our people.
Because then you find out.
Have you ever watched the episode?
Yes, I think the one that I watched, you guys didn't do that. This is back when you started.
Oh, that's possible. There might have been one or two where we didn't. We tried to do it every time.
The one where you smashed an egg on Mike's head and.
Yes, we're gonna do it again.
Yeah, we stopped that. That
Nope.
was a one time and done, right?
We're not doing it.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll let Mike explain it.
These are eggs. They come out of a chicken's butt.
That's
I mean,
Apparently.
that's why Mike doesn't explain.
that's
things.
why I'm a linguist, everybody. So these are eggs that we have. There's 6 of them in there. We have. It's funny when you have to watch. We're mirrored here, but these eggs have a number on them, and so when you pick one, there's a question that correlates to whatever egg you pick. So yeah, they are real eggs.
Pick any egg and then just crack it in your mouth and eat it.
Rocky Balboa style.
Yeah.
No,
Delicious.
when you turn it over, you'll see a number.
Number 1.
It's the first time we've got number
Number
one.
one.
That's the only.
Should I put it back?
You're number 1.
Yeah, you can't keep it. We need those for.
Yeah, we
Nice.
recycle them.
All right, so we have a random question here. Number 1. All right, if you could live without sleep, what would you do with all the extra time and why?
I would probably go for walks, especially at night. I think I would. Yeah, I think going for walks is so good, and you get to see, I think, a lot of things you don't usually see. It's also like it's very peaceful. Like when you're like in the middle of the night, you just go for a walk, or even after
the
the
middle of the
sunset.
night?
You don't do that, ever?
No, I
Usually just to
sleep.
the kid's bedroom to clean up some vomit or something.
That yeah, God forbid.
Well, I think even Christ kind of does that, not in the middle of the night necessarily, but like before the sun is up, he just gets up and
Sounds nice.
goes and spends time with the Father out in nature. I think it's a good way to connect with God and with yourself, and just like the quiet and I love the smells.
You should carry a big machete
Yeah.
in the middle of
Well, usually I do, but I left it in my other pants today. So.
I'm sorry. You're going deep, and I'm like, oh, this would be a great skit.
I don't think it's probably a good idea to carry a machete walking around Cork City.
Oh.
Or Lincoln, Nebraska,
frowned
Mike.
upon.
Last time I did that,
Omaha?
You probably
Maybe.
should. Yeah, 2 machetes.
you wouldn't be the only one, so. Yeah. People would be like, yo, nice machete, man.
Yeah. What is that, the 2.0 version? Machete?
Yeah.
It's just like Dylan, who just walked 180 miles
Yeah, no kidding.
in Spain to say, I would walk more.
Walking's really good for you,
Mm.
especially not on pavement.
Mhm.
Speaking of walking, and we'll wrap up with this, but Dylan, for how long has it been since Camp Wojtyła, doesn't sleep on a bed.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did we miss that?
He looks embarrassed when I say it.
Everybody, because it comes up and people are like, what's wrong with you? Or they're like, that's epic, like penance or something. Yeah.
So
How
you
do we
gotta,
not?
you gotta, I don't know,
Okay.
give some details and background.
Okay, so, it started when I served at Camp Wojtyła. So it's a summer camp out in Colorado, named after Karol Wojtyła, who later became St. John Paul II. And he had he was an avid outdoorsman, loved being outside, and helping people encounter Christ out in the mountains and stuff. And so that's what the summer camp kind of does. And part of that, as a counselor, while you're at camp, we don't have, there's no like permanent structures. Well, there's one or two out there. And there's a summer camp nearby that has as well. But all the counselors and the campers just sleep outdoors. For the campers, we have cots and like teepees that we erect before the summer. They're like huge, like they look like Native American like teepees,
Mike would know.
From the one that you live in.
There's honestly one right over here. Have you seen it?
What?
Wait, really?
Yeah, it's sitting right outside the barn.
We'll show
No,
you.
I haven't
I had
Okay,
somebody
we'll have to
comment
look at
on it. Yeah, somebody commented on it the other day.
That's sweet. They're really cool. But the campers usually will stay in those, and so like basically we alternate weeks with men and women campers and counselors. So when the male campers are there, they stay in the teepees, and one counselor stays in the teepee and the other one stays out right next to the teepee, kind of like not a guard, but I don't know, that's just how we do it. And there's also not a lot of room in the teepees. And then whoever's not a counselor, so if there's men there, then it would be the women, are what we call Sherpa. So the Sherpa, just like your typical Sherpa, they kind of carry the burden, right? And so the Sherpa will cook and clean and prepare and do events and basically create a environment in which the counselors can just pour into their campers really, really well. And part of being a Sherpa means that you don't stay in the teepees. You stay off further away from camp, and you live in what we call hammock village, which is basically just an area of the forest that's designated for people to put up their hammocks. Almost everybody hammock camps at camp, and so you just put your hammock up, put a tarp over it, and that's your bed for the summer. And I've liked hammock camping for a while, but my problem arose that summer. So this was 2 years ago, summer, where I had brought my hammock and my tarp, and I'd set it up, and everything was fine for the first few days. And then I noticed that that I'm too tall for my hammock. It's a hammock that I've had for a while, that I'd slept in before and never had problems, usually because I was doing like 1 or 2 night trips. But this is the whole summer. This is your bed for the whole summer. And I noticed that my feet were getting squished, and then I'd wake up and my feet would hurt because of it. And maybe part of it was because my feet were slightly elevated as well, or something. And so I was like, I cannot sleep in my hammock anymore. So I had like a sleeping mat in my hammock to help kind of trap the heat in there and stuff. And I took it out and I put it on the ground. And I put some, like, a little bit of stuff underneath it. I put my like sleeping pad on it, and then I put a string between 2 trees above me and hung my tarp over me like a tent. And it was nice. It was roomy, and it was comfortable, and I could put my pack. We're kind of living out of our backpacks a little bit, and I could put it next to me, and there was just plenty of room and all these things. I was like, this is actually great compared to living in a hammock, not compared to living in a bed. But I noticed that I actually, I felt really good when I did it, like the next day. And that was also when I had sort of transitioned to wearing more barefoot, minimalist style shoes. And I just felt really, really good. And I was like, why do I get up in the morning and I want to run around and jump. I feel strong. And I was like, why is this? And so I came home for, it was Adelaide's wedding. I came home for the wedding, and I didn't want to come back and sleep in a bed, because then I thought it would be hard for me to go back to the mountain and sleep on my mat. And so I just slept on the ground, and I still slept great. I was like, this is amazing. And I went back, and then as I did more research into it, I was like, oh, this is actually really good for you. Not for everybody and not in every state in life, but it helps your posture, and you have more pressure on your muscles and stuff. So it helps with circulation, which would help with recovery and all these things. Wow. And so I just stuck with it. Like, I got home after that summer, and I haven't slept on a bed since. Well, there's been occasions, like when we're doing the Camino, there's nowhere to sleep except on a bed. So I slept on they were kind of crappy mattresses, but I haven't gone back to a bed since, and I have no intention of doing so. Which then everybody always goes, well, what if you get married? What if you get married? And that's a whole nother conversation. But that's why I sleep on the ground. I just love it, and I feel great.
So when Dylan came back, and I said, well, I got a spare room. Do you want a bed? He's like, yeah, no. He's like, I got a little sleeping mat. So he sleeps on a sleeping mat.
It makes it really convenient if you're going, like, if you're traveling or whatever, like, do you get a 3-bedroom Airbnb, or do you get a 2-bedroom and a rug?
Yeah, right.
Or in the airport, I can just sleep on the ground there. I don't care.
Yeah, it's totally normal.
It is convenient when you adapt to that.
Yeah, why not? Like, I'm a single 23-year-old man. Like, I'm happy to be able to sleep anywhere. I don't need to worry about those things.
To be young.
To be young and handsome.
Well,
and humble.
Dylan, how can people support you? Because, as a FOCUS missionary, you raise your own funds, and what would be the best way for them to, maybe if they've watched this and they want to help you out with a monthly donation or something like that, or a one-time donation? How would they do that?
Well, I'd say first with prayers. We need prayers. The church needs prayers. So prayers, definitely. You can find me on FOCUS website. So you just type in Dylan Little FOCUS, and it'll probably show up.
We can put a link. We'll put a link in the description too for you.
And so you can go there, and you can read some of my story on there, and you can support me on there. I think my phone number is maybe on there too, or my email. And so if you want to send me prayer requests or whatever, or whatever. I was gonna say I'm not in town, but if people want to connect or something, you better come to Austria. So
yeah, you won't be in Dublin, that's for sure.
Yeah. But if you're in Austria, come say hi.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll put some links in the description and whatnot, so people can reach out to you if they got any questions about FOCUS or ministry on a college campus, or if someone is a college student and is looking to encounter Christ, how they can maybe get involved with Bible studies, that kind of thing. So we'll try and put some resources out there for people. So
awesome.
Thanks for being here, D.
Yeah, thanks, Dylan. Yeah, we appreciate having you, and your story is amazing. And we ask you guys, we thank you for watching, and we got a couple new episodes coming up, dropping. Well, we're going to interview them this week, so we're excited about those. And just kick off your boots and join us on the next episode.
Welcome back to the barn again. My name is Jonathan Little.
And I'm Mike Sizz.
And that's right.
Are we doing last names?
I have a last name, but I didn't say it.
I think you did say it.
Did I?
Yeah, didn't he say Jonathan Little?
Did I?
Mm-hmm. We have it on tape. We have it on tape.
Now they know who we are.
Can we roll it again?
Roll it back.
Like mostly towards.
Look at that. It fixed it.
I'll just look like this the whole time.
Well, I'll just look at it.
Hello.
How are you, Dylan? You have some of these patches on your elbows like this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like
I'm
put on
talking
my
about
glasses and say tot looks like rain. So
I'm not sure when I read that. I feel like grade school.
That's when I started reading Aquinas in grade school.
Right.
That explains so much about your brain and how brilliant you are.
Wow.
Yeah, sometimes I say things that I regret later, but that's just.
I'm gonna turn it down in here.
I say,
great.
Let's test it out. Let's see how cold we can get it.
That's expensive,
What?
Jonathan. That's expensive.
Feet around, and my sandals squeak on the wood. And I also just don't want to be wearing shoes. Shoes are invented by the government.
Do they wear shoes in Ireland?
Oh, any topics off? We usually ask people that. Anything you don't want to talk about? Like that third nipple thing? Or is that...
The rash, and then...
The tail.
well, because
George-
you might have the surgery before
That
this
was a
airs.
George
Yeah.
Costanza reference. Do you think they can hear that cricket?
I could in our live.
Could you?
the other
Okay.
day.
Can we name him Frank? I think he's like been around. He's part of the barn.
Wow. That's super deep.
Frank, the cricket.
We'll introduce you as our guest, and then you can say hi.
Okay.
Don't say hi before then, or we're just going to stare at you awkwardly, like we did the other guy.
Then
who did it.
we're just done. It's just
Should
over.
I look at the camera or not?
Yeah, give it like a, some. So what?
Seriously, are you gonna go, Frank? Stop it.
knock it the f
We're
off.
on. We're on.
He
We're
wa-
live.
He wants to be on the podcast.
Whatever seems natural. If you're,
Tell my lady listeners.
Can you do one of these things with your mustache?
I actually used to. It's not as long anymore, but
Wow.
those are blonde, so
Impressive.
you can't see it.
Hashtag
anyway.
impressive.
Mike, when you're editing, can you zoom in on the mustache and just when he's talking, just let it do that.
Just like this.
Just the talking lips with the mustache.
And every now and then it just twitches.
Yeah.
People will know you around the world. Be like,
Occasionally you'll
he's the
see
mustache.
a finger come and scratch the stash, you know.
Yeah, right.
Oh, Dylan has a special talent. He can put his tongue in his nose.
Oh.
Can you do that? It's funny.
Yeah,
I'm using the camera to try and aim for it, and it's backward.
I'll have like an itch right here or on my eye or something, and my first thought is to lick my I'll start sticking my tongue out. And I'm like, I can't lick my eyeball, but my brain is like, no, just lick your eye and get that thing off.
You may want to see someone about that. It's-
Like a vet. You might try yours, Dylan. See how it works, buddy.
What I always say, icicle, popsicle, testing, 1 2 3 testing.
When I silence the fears in my heart, when the skies turn blue and the clouds begin to part, that's exactly when the peace will start. Ooh, when I'm with you. And when my hopes and dreams are hanging by a thread, lost in confusion and the chaos in my head, I pray that one day I can lay it all to bed. Ooh, when I'm with you, be my strength, and take this burden from me. Be my strength, and take this hurt from me. I know it's easy to forget how blessed I am, that you're my woman and baby I'm your man. I try to love you the best that I can. Ooh, when I'm with you, oh, be my strength, and take this burden from me. Oh, be my strength, and take this hurt from me. So if I lose sight of what we had in mind, set me on the right path, but please be kind. I'm sure that I'll lose it, I'm sure I will find. Ooh, when I'm with you. Oh, be my strength, and take this burden from me. Oh, be my strength, and take this hurt